Do you have a favorite food? This is mine. These are called Panzerotti. Have you ever heard of them? Panzerotti are from southern Italy, from a region called Puglia. Puglia is where I was born, so it's close to my heart. It's such a beautiful place. Walking around, you can find delicious food everywhere you go. There are lots of nice beaches, lots of touristic places, and historic sites. So you should definitely go and visit Puglia one day if you can. Panzerotti are a popular street food, and they are so loved that people use them as an excuse to invite family and friends over for dinner. And that kind of night, it's called panzerottata. A lot of people eat panzerotti for New Year's Eve and for a festivity called Immacolata. They can be found all over Italy now, and their name and their recipe changes depending on the city. They are very popular in Naples, but they make them bigger, like the size of a pizza folded in half. And they call it pizza fritta, that means fried pizza. In other places like Sicily, they call them fried calzones. In fact, they are very similar to calzones. The difference is that calzones are baked and panzerotti are fried. And frying them, in my opinion, makes them much better than calzones. I guess less healthy, but it makes them very tasty. It's said that in the 1600s, a woman cooking at home decided to use the leftover dough used for bread, and she decided to fill it up with tomatoes and mozzarella cheese. Then she closed it and then she fried it, and that's how Panzerotti started to be. And I'm so grateful for that lady. The name derives from the southern Italian way of saying belly, that it's panza. Because when the panzerotto is fried, then it puffs up and resembles the shape of a full stomach. And I will assure you also that after eating some panzerotti, your stomach will be nice and full. The traditional filling is still tomatoes and mozzarella cheese. My mom always used also mortadella, that it's a delicious deli meat that you can find in Italy. Panzerotti are also known in some areas of United States and Canada, especially where a lot of Italian immigrants moved in the past. It was also commercialized in frozen versions, very well known, like pizza pockets or pizza pops. Now I'll show you how to make them. I put the yeast in a bowl, some lukewarm water and honey. I mix it together and let it stand for 10 minutes until it becomes foamy. I put the flour, I add the salt, and I mix it. I make a hole in the flour and I add the yeast mixture. I add some of the water. I mix it together and I keep adding water little by little, and I mix until it becomes one piece of dough. I add olive oil, and when it's all absorbed, I transfer it on a table and I knead for about 5 minutes until the dough becomes smooth. Now I put the dough back in the bowl. I cover it and I let it rest for about 2 to 3 hours. Now that the dough has doubled in size, I can divide it in small little circles. So I put some flour on the table, I grab a little piece and I roll it. So now that I've made all the balls, I'm going to cover them and I'm going to let them rise for about 30 minutes. I put some olive oil in a pot, some pieces of onion, and after they cook for a few minutes, I can add the tomato sauce. I let it cook on low for about 30 minutes. The last 10 minutes, I add some fresh basil leaves. It will give it a great flavor. Let the tomato sauce cool down. The balls of dough are now ready. So I grab one. I put some flour on the bottom and on the top. I push it a little bit. And I use the rolling pin to make a circle. The dough shouldn't be too thin because it can break when I put the filling inside. And it shouldn't be too thick because the panzerotto will become too doughy. I put some tomato sauce. Then I add the drained mozzarella. And this is how I close it. I fold it. Then I push the sides like this. And then I seal it this way. You can put a good amount of filling, but never too much, because the panzerotto can break while frying. And this is another way that the panzerotto can be closed. I push the sides, and then I use this knife to seal it. The oil should be very hot, and it should just make this noise when you put it in. If it's not hot enough, then the panzerotto would not be crispy enough, and it would just be flat and not good. When the bottom part is golden, you can turn it around and fry the other side. Perfect. This looks great. Here are all the panzerotti ready. Fluffy and crispy at the same time. And you can see the yummy inside of the panzerotto with the mozzarella and the tomato sauce inside. They are very delicious. You should definitely try this recipe, and I promise you will be a happier person. This will always be my favorite food.